Welcome to Punchout Training for Buyers. As we discussed in general user training, a Punchout is a vendor website linked within Coupa that links back to your cart for internal approval and then PO creation. Punchouts are located on your home screen at the bottom right-hand corner under the Shop Online section. So how does sourcing determine if a vendor's right for Punchout creation? First, they must be a high-volume vendor, meaning 500 plus invoices processed in a rolling 12 months over multiple properties. Second, the vendor has to have the ability to link their website to the Coupa platform for orders and invoices, but also be able to restrict end-user view fields for P&K contracted items only. Third, there has to be an existing contract with bid documentation uploaded into Coupa. And last, they must be approved by our CPO and e-procurement team. So who manages Punchouts? Our commodity managers. So if you're interested in getting a vendor set up and they meet the requirements we discussed, please contact the manager over the vendor's commodity. So now that we've discussed how to get a Punchout, we're going to talk about the benefits, limitations, and myths of Punchouts. First, the benefits. We have to understand that all Punchout content is managed and created by our suppliers. So the content varies from one supplier's website to another, and not all benefits are available in every Punchout. Some of the benefits, we can drill down by clicking. We can search keyword part number. In some Punchouts, there's the ability to side-by-side compare items with a compare feature. In some Punchouts, there is lead times. There's current pricing. In some Punchouts, I'm able to select an item and get additional attributes and sometimes spec sheets. These all vary from supplier website to supplier website. Once I've selected an item though, it's relatively easy to add it to my cart. Once in my cart, I just check on out. And when I complete my checkout, it pulls the information back into Coupa for me. So now that we've gone over some of the benefits and we're back into our Coupa cart, we can focus on some of the limitations. First limitation, the text feature. So in end-user training, we tell our end users that they can type things here like rush shipment, and they can send it to their supplier. That is true, except for Punchout suppliers. Because the system talks system to system, these notes don't get through. So if we have any rush shipments, modifications of POs, or changes to the system information that we need to get to our supplier, that has to be done manually with either an email or a phone call. The second limitation is my spend history. So in general user training, we tell our end users they can go into spend history and they can copy old orders, so they don't have to continually search for the same product over and over again. That's true, except for Punchouts. If I attempt to copy an order from a Punchout, it's going to give me this error. Like we said earlier, because Punchout contact is managed by our supplier, pricing can change at any time. Therefore, the system will not let me copy old information because it could be incorrect. The third limitation is order lists. So back on my home page, we talk about order lists and using them for ease of use for our end users. That's true. Except we can't add items from Punchouts. We can only create order lists from catalog items. So that's something to keep in mind. And the last limitation is sometimes Punchouts just don't work the way we want them to, and we have what are called transmission failures. So if we go into orders, we can find these using the transmission status search and finding transmission failures. The second thing we need to be aware of is occasionally we have to order from Punchout vendors through a free text. That's fine. Suppliers like MBS provide promotional items that are one-time buys, so we're not going to put them on the Punchout. Those have to be sent manually through a pending manual process. To correct either one of these options, super easy. You go into orders, you find the order, you go to send PO with the green arrow, and it brings up the transmission method. If it's a failed CXML transmission, we keep it on the CXML, we hit OK, and it's going to send our purchase order through transmission. If we find one and we need to resend it, Because it's a manual order, such as a promotional item that's a free text, I would find my PO. It's going to bring me the same thing. I'm going to select email instead. Because it's a free text, the system is not going to be able to talk to the other system, so I need to email it. I would select the email option and hit OK. The system will then manually email my PO over to that supplier. So those are some of the limitations. Last is myths. The first myth, pricing is always correct. What happens if my approver takes several days to approve? Due to the supplier's ability to update pricing as needed, there may be differences between price from the time of punchout to PO actual creation, and that's okay. Those will go through variance and have to have a buyer to approve. The second myth, just because they have a website does not mean they can e-invoice, which is a punchout requirement. So if you're looking at potentially setting up someone for a punchout, definitely make sure that that's what they can do. And the last one, everything on the Google website is available in the punchout. Nope. Remember, only items that are contracted are seen in the punchout. And remember, if you have questions about any of this, don't guess. Ask. And who do we ask? Our punchout owners, commodity managers. So that is Punchout for Buyers. Hope you have a wonderful day.